Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Healing Channel. This month is Women's History Month, and tomorrow is International Women's Day. So why not talk about women and their impact on our lives? So today, we're celebrating the women in our lives and discussing their roles and what we did, can, or will learn from the experience. Every day should be growth. How we grow and what we do to continue may be contingent on those relationships we build and have. Many people will be talking about famous people, so I'll let their platforms have that. I'd like to bring light to those who don't get enough credit, those who are personally important to us, those who have helped shape us into the people we have become or would like to be. Today, I am talking with April Foltz. She is from Detroit, Michigan. She went to Pershing High School. Now living in Indiana, she played women's professional football. Yes, you heard me say women's professional football. As a 7-year veteran, 5 championships, 2 years in a row on the All-Star team, known as number 70, Tank. Beyond that, she is a daughter, a sister, life of the party, or some would say she is the party. Hero to those who knew about that carjacking she stopped. Yep, you heard me. She stopped the carjacking. But mostly, she's family and friends to all who meet her. It is my pleasure and honor to have her here today. To know her means to understand her connection to her hometown and the love she shows her community and others. No matter where she goes, she will leave a lasting impression and joy on your face. Let's get into it. So first of all, I want to thank you for allowing me to interview. Can't go about my life or do certain things without having April put her input on whatever it is.
Oh, same.
I want you to tell me 2 women you admire and why.
Okay. Oh, you put me on the spot here.
Yes.
2 women I admire. The first woman I had to... before I tell you, I'm not huge on celebrities, so...
I'm not either. And it doesn't have to be anyone famous. It could be someone personal to you.
I just wanted to point that out because a lot of people worship celebrities, and that's
True.
Just not me, because I worship what's real.
That's true.
A person that... one woman I admire is my sister, Irene. And the reason why I admire her is because she's so strong. And a lot of people say family members are strong, but, even though I'm a very strong person, she never weakens. And her personality, it just... it kept me grounded for so many years, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't for her, I would have never graduated from high school on time. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't learn a lot of things that I've learned in life. She gave me a lot of life lessons. And I'm an Aries, so I'm like, hey, you can't tell me what to do, but she's like, I don't want to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Everybody needs that person that's going to be a strong backbone, even when everybody else is, going away. My mother was a strong part, in me coming up, but my sister, because we were so close in age and we hung out so much together,
Mm-hmm.
she always pushed me to be better and to believe in myself, even when she didn't have the strength to believe in herself.
Yes.
And she saw, positivity in everyone else, and she discredited herself a lot. And I tell her all the time, I said, you are very good at what you do, and hey, don't, take away from you and what you bring to the table. But she's always put people before herself. So,
Mm-hmm.
Even with taking care of our father, which is some things that I know I probably wouldn't have been able to do, but because she has a background in healthcare, she was great at it.
Mm-hmm.
And she's also a good people person. So I always admired her for being able to get up and make things happen. So, and I love her for that. Don't tell her I said that, though, because
she know it. She feels it. She might not know all the extra details, but I promise you exude who you are throughout. So if they don't know where they stand with you, that's their problem. It's never your problem, because you really show how you feel about people in all wakes of life.
Yeah, I don't like to pull punches, or I don't like to take nothing. I never take anything away from anybody. The second person I admire the most is myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to say I admire myself because I've been through so much and a lot of things. A lot of people don't know about me. I'm a private person. I kept a lid on a lot of pain I've been through, a lot of dark days I've been through. But I also feel like through everything I've been through, traumatic experiences and stuff, I learned that everybody needs to be celebrated, and that's my job. God speaks through me, and He uses me as a vessel, as Christian like as I am. I'm gonna say that. You know, He used me as a vessel, and I've noticed my gifts and my talents that He blessed me with. So my goal is to leave people better than I found them. And then whatever that entails, whether it's checking on you, your well-being, telling you a joke. If you're not feeling well, I can see that. I'm observant. So I would have to say myself, you know, and I never take a lot of credit for the things that I do. I'm just glad to be a vessel for God. So that's where I am with that. So yeah, the second person I admire most is myself. I got so much more growing to do, and I am far from where I need to be.
I like that. And knowing you, I have seen a lot. And so for you to say those things, some of those things are what I think about you anyway. And it's a few of the reasons that I do admire you, because I admire you.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's true. Don't tell you I said that.
I promise I'll keep it to myself.
Healing is not a momentary process. It's a journey. Okay, so how can women work on being better for each other, whether they're working on themselves or working as a unit with or for other women? How can we be better for each other?
Communication. So many things are not being said to people. You know, you can always brighten someone's day with a hello. You can always pick somebody up with a, hey, what's wrong? Communication, talk to each other. That's it. That'll open the doors to so many different things. If I give you a safe place to talk and a safe space with me, then you can open up to me, because guess what? I may have the answers you're looking for. So to be there for one another in sisterhood, let's talk it out. We already know you got problems. We know what the problem is. Now we're looking for solutions.
Right.
Okay? Because you got a wealth of knowledge. I have a wealth of knowledge. Well, how would I know if you got the answer in that wealth of knowledge if you don't talk to me or I don't talk to you? True. It's just communication. You know, being there and so many people are down on each other. You know, women, children, family. If you communicate with people and let people open up, a lot of things will change. That's just my opinion.
If we open up, yes, a lot of things will change. Why do you think it's so hard for people in general, men and women? Why do you think it's so hard for us to communicate with each other? Or honestly, not just communicate, but to be ourselves or to be real or to be honest with each other?
Because lack of communication and lack of safe space. People are afraid of being judged. It's more of the negative narrative than anything else in the world. And if you can get rid of being judged, if you can get rid of hate, if you can get rid of just negative thinking, the thought process, if you can get rid of all of those things, then people would feel like, hey, this is a safe space. Because you got prejudices and people going against one another. When that's, if you look at it, what is that going to solve? That's completely unnecessary. You know, for you to judge me, why would you judge me? Because I guarantee you, we're probably on the same playing field. But what are you gaining from that?
Right.
So you got to do a self-check first. You know what I mean? Because I may not have a college degree and you may have a college degree. Well, if I need to go further and I want to further my education and I know you know, well, why be a gatekeeper? Because you're afraid of me passing you up?
Yes,
I agree. Are you afraid of, you know, me being a little bit better than you? And how wrong is that? It's a vast world out there.
Right, and it's a space for us all. It's a space for everybody to exist. That's why we all already exist in this world.
Absolutely. And a lot of people are afraid to share their space. And it goes all the way back to lack thereof from traumatic experiences in the past.
Yes.
So a lot of people that get into situations, they're like, well, I'm never going to let that happen to me again, or I've seen this happen to such and such. I mean, everybody has different stories to tell for different reasons why they do what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And if people are more open and wouldn't think in a negative sort about themselves or anybody else, yeah, we all can unite and do some things. But until we get rid of that self-hate, negative talk, and, you know, just not being there for one another, creating a safe space,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we can't move forward as, you know, at all.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Life doesn't have to be complicated. If you're missing somebody, call them. You want to meet up? Invite. Want to be understood? Explain. If you have questions, ask. Don't like something? You can say it. If you like something, you can state it. Want something? Just ask for it. Love someone? Please, by all means, tell them. Keep your life simple. Remove the toxic energy. Pull in the positive energy. You are in control.
What do you think the biggest challenge in a relationship is? Whether it's an intimate one, a romantic one, or just a relationship like having a true friend? What do you think the biggest challenge is in relationships?
Trust. Biggest challenge is trust. I should be able to go somewhere and know that as a friend that you're not going to talk bad behind my back.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that goes all the way back to the things that I just mentioned before.
Mm-hmm.
Communication, trust. I mean, it all falls in line. The things that we learned in elementary school.
Yes. Or we should have. If we didn't learn it in elementary school, we should have learned it in elementary school.
Different people. But if you have somebody in your life or that's always constantly grooming you to be better and not to think that way, which is probably like 2% of the world,
Mm-hmm.
then you would understand things a lot clearer. But I mean, you know, not to get off track, but trust. I should be able to trust that if I tell you a secret, you won't tell no one else.
Right,
or I
right.
should be able to trust that, you know, if we're dating, that you can go out with the opposite sex and then I won't think you're cheating.
Right,
And
right.
you know what I mean? So it's,
Right.
bottom line is just trust.
Yep.
Like, nobody should intimidate you. Temptation should never come across anything. My name in the friendship when you're talking bad about me, or in a relationship when
Right.
you go out with the opposite sex. It's just trust.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I agree.
So I believe if nobody can trust each other, then look where we at. Everybody are individuals, and nobody wants to be bothered with nobody
Yes.
because I can't trust you.
Yep, and we have bigger problems with, if we don't trust each other, I feel like on a smaller scale, then some of the issues we have, the bigger scales with the rich and the famous, the elite, who are trafficking kids and sexual assault and different things like that. The reason that these people are subjected to these or open to these is because they lacked it in their environment and they saw it somewhere else who was going to take advantage of it. And that's exactly what they did and are doing.
The problem is, part of the problem is that a lot of things that are wrong in eyes of the public are normalized now.
Yes,
It's okay.
yes, that's
It's
true.
okay.
Yep.
It's okay to target people for organs
Mm-hmm.
and kids for kidnapping. I mean, the crime rate is high. Things are way worse than it ever was when we were kids.
That's true, and it's more it is more seen because it happened, some of this, when we were kids, but without the access to social media, everyone having access to it, being able to film it and talk about it, it was more hidden. So and so it grew with the availability of the social media, because not only were we able, or people, everyday people, able to film it and talk about it, they were able to reach each other, the ones that are like-minded in that corrupt, sadistic mindset. They were able to connect as well. And so, like you just said, it opened up to a whole lot more.
Yeah, it did, and now it's too late to conceal it.
Yeah, I agree. It's sad. It's sad. I agree with that.
I got the right to trust you, and you can trust me, and you can build from that.
Yes. Do our part. Do our part as individuals. And it starts by loving ourselves, caring enough about ourselves that we can put ourselves out there to allow someone else to care about us, to communicate with us, to trust us, and build from there.
Yeah, and the first thing is recognizing your traumas.
Yes.
You have to recognize you have to fix you before you can fix someone else.
Right.
You know, and when you walk down that road, I mean, you can also attest to and people that have other traumatic experiences.
Yes.
Because you've seen that before. You've seen the traits.
Yes.
You've seen it. You know what I mean? And to allow someone who's being vulnerable with you in their trauma and not picking at it like a scab, that opens up the door to so much more. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And sometimes people just may need a hug.
Yep.
As that.
That's true. A hug, a smile.
You know what's crazy? I sometimes look at it, and I have hidden traumas too, and I look at it in a negative light. Like, well, hey, I just wanted to reach out to you. I was thinking about you. I'm like, Lord, now I'm gonna die.
Don't do that. You can't do that.
You know, and what's crazy is because of what I feed my mind. And
yes,
I
yes.
conscious of that. Now I notice when I'm feeding my mind craziness, you know what I mean?
Yes,
and I'm like, you can't do that. You don't hear about two parents anymore. My parents were married all the way up to both their last day.
Yes.
And I wouldn't trade that for any amount of money in the world. So two-parent household is very important. It's very important.
I had a single parent, but it was my father, so I had the opposite of a lot of people who are raised by their mothers and grandmothers and stuff. And so I learned some things from my father, but it's some things that I wish I was taught, whether it would have come from a household with both parents, or whether my dad was more open to, like you started off with communication, because some things that I didn't understand, it took me years to learn and understand. I had to change some of the things, or to improve some of the areas that I felt like could have been worked on. And one of the big ones was communication and trust. And we still had, bumps in the road, but I also knew that family didn't always mean blood. Some family meant the trusted people that you have in your life that can help you in the areas that you feel you fall short. And the first step of that was admitting that you're falling short, or that you don't know something. And so I used outside resources to help me when and if I could. And I wasn't perfect. So being with a significant other and having that family, bond coming together and us working as a family union, that's something that I feel is important that I didn't have, that I wish I had, or was taught to have, or to seek.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point. I mean, we can expound on that a lot.
So let me ask you this. 3 things you love about being you. 3 things you love about yourself.
I'm not afraid to speak up for the underdog. I'm an open person, and I live in my truth.
I love that. That is so true. And so in closing, I want to say this. I admire you. I love your honesty, your strength, and your fairness. You are always evaluating yourself and your relationships with others and making decisions, always striving to be and do more than the last days, weeks, months, and wishing this for others, for the best for them, for your loved ones and people that you know and don't know. And I've seen you progress over the years. I've seen you evaluate different things in different situations and say, hey, I could have done this, or I learned this lesson from this. And you're always willing to share it. And the way that you show love, you love on people that you love. I love that about you. And so I couldn't have done this episode and going into Women's History Month and National Women's Day without having a conversation with you. So for all of that, I love you and I thank you.
I love you too. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I really appreciate it.
Well, that wraps up another episode of the Healing Channel. So, who are some of the women you admire and why? How can women work to be better for each other? What do you consider the biggest challenge in relationships? Name 3 things you love about yourself. You can share your responses or any of your thoughts by commenting on my YouTube channel under this episode, or feel free to email me at forevercreationsllc@gmail.com. You can remain anonymous if you'd like. You may find your question or scenario on the episode of the Healing Channel. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for exclusive content like this full interview, and where if you leave feedback, you can get responses. Don't forget, like and share. You never know, this may reach who it needs to. Until next time, I'll end it with something from my heart to yours. See you next Thursday for another episode of the Healing Channel, where healing is not a momentary process, it's a journey. My life has taken so many twists and turns, good and bad, and I haven't regretted any of it. I just took that shit on the chin and kept it moving. To see people in my life who have been there from the start of money. My kids aren't kids anymore. Well, most of them. Nor is my life easier. I can say that I'm seeing things I wished for when they were all young. I'm seeing our hard work pay off, and I'm forever grateful for that. I'm walking in this new set of steps with grace and confidence. No matter how many steps I have left, I'm going to enjoy each and every one. I've learned to love myself better and harder, and in return, I'm able to give it more understandingly. I've watched shows that made me evaluate relationships and process the value of them. I've asked people what would seem tough and maybe unfair questions, but clarity was always at the forefront. Sometimes I needed answers, and even then, I've discovered some I'm waiting on or have waited on. I don't need them no more. In speaking up and out, I got the understanding or closure I needed. I've closed and I'm closing some doors so others can open, not out of anger, but out of the growth and value I place on myself and the expectations of fair treatment and love as I've shown. Each case is different, I know, but through it all, I'm grateful. And I just want to say, I want to thank you for loving me through it all. I appreciate you being here. Keep healing as I am. Thank you for being on the Healing Channel. Until next time, peace. Sag Mom out.